Hi everyone, today we are going to read out of the book and we are going to read about rocks and fossils. We are going to read pages 226 through 231, so you can follow along with me as I read to you. So starting on page 226, how rocks and fossils tell a story. You can learn about an area's history by studying its rocks and fossils. For example, you can tell how old the rock is compared to other rocks. You can also tell how living things and environments changed in that area over time. If you study rocks in different places, you can tell about larger changes to Earth's surface and to life on Earth. Imagine making a stack of newspapers in the order they were printed. When you look at the stack, you'll find the oldest paper on the bottom and the newest on the top. Rock layers work the same way. The oldest rock layers are at the bottom and the youngest rock layers are at the top. The relative age of a layer of rock is the age of that layer when you compare it to other layers, older, younger, or ones that are the same. Page 227. Fossils form when sediment buries dead organisms. As a result, fossils are often found in sedimentary rocks. Scientists use fossils they find in rocks to help figure out the relative age of rock layers. The fossil record is made up of all the fossils in Earth's rock layers. Fossils show how life on Earth has changed over time. So the fossil record contains information about Earth's history and the history of life on Earth. Over time, movement of Earth's crust can cause layers of rock to become tilted. These movements can also lift rocks that were formed in the ocean to new positions high above sea level. The rock layers of the Grand Canyon were tilted and lifted millions of years ago. Let's look over at the rock layers of the Grand Canyon. So let's go from top to bottom. The fossils in this layer of rock show that they were formed in the ocean. This layer of rock is older than the layers above. It contains a fossil imprint or mold of a plant. You can see where it looks like a leaf. Fossils like these are found in another layer of rock also formed in the ocean. And last, this layer of rock is one of the lower layers of the canyon and is older than all of the rocks above. It contains fossils of trilobites, small animals like horseshoe crabs that lived in ancient seas. So looking at that, the bottom layer is the oldest, and as you get higher, the layers are younger. So the bottom layer is the oldest and the top layer is the youngest. Let's look at our question on 227. Suppose you find a fossil that looks like the second one from the top on this page. What can you say about its relative age? So if you're looking at the second one, where it says this layer of rock is older than the other layers above it, it contains a fossil imprint or mold of a plant. What can that layer tell you about its age? So what did we just read about? Where is that layer compared to the ones below it? So is it older or younger? And then the layer above it, is it older or younger? Just write that in a complete sentence for me. And then let's turn to page 228. Divisions in time. When you talk about your past, do you say how old you were when events happened? Scientists use similar references to describe Earth's history. Scientists who study Earth's history divide time into large groups. Flowering plants such as grasses appeared before the first ice age. Saber-toothed cats lived during the ice ages. Trees that produce seeds and cones appeared at the beginning of the Mesozoic era. The middle and end of the Mesozoic era is known as the age of the dinosaurs. Large animals such as Stegosaurus lived during this time. Large tree ferns were common during the late Paleozoic era. The large coal deposits in the eastern United States formed from plants like these. Trilobites were so common that the earliest part of the Paleozoic was called the Age of the Trilobites. Page 229. All the rocks on Earth are a record of Earth's long history. Scientists developed the geologic time scale to divide Earth's history into manageable units. The fossils each unit contains define it. Some fossils are more help than others. Index fossils help to identify a very short period of Earth's history. Index fossils must meet 4 different requirements. They are: 1, the organisms from which they formed lived during a short period of Earth's history. 2, the organisms must have large populations so that many fossils formed. 3, the fossils must be widespread. 4, the fossils must be easily recognized. The pterosaurs lived during the Mesozoic. These animals were not dinosaurs. They were flying reptiles. The largest pterosaur had a wingspan of at least 12 meters or 39 feet. We read that this past week when we did our small groups. Down at the bottom, do the math. Use the geologic time scale to answer. Which time interval was the longest? Okay, so you have to look at the different eras, okay, and look to see which one was the longest. So you're going to take when it ended, subtracted from when it started. So a little bit of math. And then for the second one, which one was the shortest? And then after you do that, for the next one, it says how many years did each of these eras last? Okay, so you'll have to do that for the Paleozoic, the Mesozoic, and the Cenozoic. And then the last one, how long did the Precambrian time last? Come back and do that. All right, our last 2 pages. 230, big changes on Earth. Fossils tell about how life on Earth has changed over time. They also can give clues to how Earth's continents and landforms have changed. Fossils can tell us about the relative age of rocks. From fossils, we can learn about changes in life through the divisions of geologic time. Fossils can also provide evidence about other larger changes to Earth's surface. Using fossils, you can identify areas of Earth that are now in different places than they once were. Scientists have found the same type of fossil on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. They are fossils of small lizard-like reptile called Mesosaurus that lived in fresh water, kind of like Lake Erie. Lake Erie is fresh water. At first, scientists thought the Mesosaurus swam from one side of the ocean to the other. That would be a lot of swimming. But Mesosaurus was too small to have been able to swim across the salty Atlantic. Finding these fossils in distant places helps scientists prove that Earth's continents have moved over time. At the end of the Paleozoic era, all of the Earth's land masses were joined. Scientists think the land masses began to slowly break apart during the Mesozoic era. Finally, the continents we know today took shape. The presence of a single landmass explains why Mesosaurus is found in so many places. With the continents all in one piece, Mesosaurus could move across the land. This information supports the idea of continental drift and has helped scientists understand the movement of Earth's plates. So, if you look at the pictures above, okay, it shows how the continents were together and then how they slowly spread apart to how they are today. Long ago, all of Earth's land formed one giant continent, Pangaea. This giant continent broke up over millions of years. Fossils of the same kind and age that are found in different places support the idea that they were once joined. Look at the world map. The Appalachian Mountains in eastern North America are similar in age and rock type to mountains in Western Europe and Northwest Africa. What can scientists conclude from this? Okay, so what do you think scientists can figure out about those mountains being in 2 different areas? Okay, that is it for our reading today. Please make sure you get on Google Classroom and you answer the challenge question. As always, please make sure that you use RACE when you are answering your question so you can get full credit. Remember, R means restate the question or the prompt. Answer means answer the question. Cite evidence, whether you get it out of the book or from station work that we did last week, and explain your answer. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I can show you little Cammie. She's taking a little nap. if you can see her there. So she did not join my video today because she was napping. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye.